Alright, happy St. Patrick's Day everyone. St. Patrick's Day is here and I figured it's the best day to do a green fragrances video, and these are perfect to wear in the spring since spring is just around the corner and it's starting to smell a lot like spring out there. These are the perfect fragrances. So today I've got 12 green fragrances perfect to wear in the springtime, all coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yes, today I'm talking about green fragrances on St. Patrick's Day. I'm not wearing any green. It's one of my least favorite colors to wear, so I stay away from colors I don't like to wear, but I absolutely love green fragrances. I love the way green fragrances smell, and they are perfect to wear in the springtime. A lot of these are on the fresh side, but more with deeper, more dense notes. These are not the ultimate fresh green fragrances or green fresh fragrances, but they are perfectly appropriate to wear in the springtime. So I'll let you know what they are before I do though. If this is your first time tuning into the channel and you still haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So let's get started. We're gonna go right ahead to a fragrance from the house of Commodity. This is Moss, this one right here. Moss is a totally green experience. It's very fresh, it's very green and earthy, and it features notes of Oakmoss, Cedarwood, Petitgrain. So it's clean, damp, woody, and mossy, but there's lots of earthy notes here. There's a little bit of green citrusy touches, but more on the bitter, earthy, woody side with the leaves of the orange tree. Plus it's got the Oakmoss, which is typical for this particular fragrance, especially since it's named Moss. So it's a very, very green experience with this particular fragrance. It wears very, very fresh. It totally has very much green qualities to the fragrance, but it does eventually get very, very earthy and of course woody as well. There's definitely a dampness here, and I like that whole spring dampness experience where you still get a lot of rain, but it's not like frosty, snowy, and things like that during the spring months. So this is Moss from the house of Commodity, the first fragrance I'm starting off with. Second fragrance is a fragrance I recently featured in a Comme des Garçons video. This is Serpentine, this one right here. This is a very green succulent experience to me. There's a major pulpiness about this, almost like you're breaking off aloe vera, and you can experience that jelly-like consistency in there when you touch it, and that's kind of how it wears on me. But it's a very green, fresh, and aldehydic experience, and it features green grass, aldehydes, asphalt, green leaves, juniper berry, and galbanum. So it has aromatic, spicy touches, has bitter touches as well with the galbanum, and I think galbanum is a great note for liking to wear green fragrances. So if you like the idea of green fragrances, always look up this particular note, and not only does it go green, it also goes bitter and a little vegetal as well, not a little, a lot. So, but you know, you've got the grassiness here. It's very, very green and fresh, but as I was mentioning, there's that kind of pulpy, kind of gelatinous aloe vera pulp kind of experience when you wear this one. Really, really fresh experience, but wonderful smelling green experience. So this is Comme des Garçons Serpentine. Next up, going to the house of Les Parfums de Rosine. This is ELOGE VERT, this one right here. Here we go into a totally different type of a green direction, and we're focusing on green bell peppers here and how it contrasts with roses. So it's a green experience with the green bell peppers, plus it's a rosy experience. So you've got green, spicy, and warm touches with this one. Lots of rose, and then you also experience black pepper. So not only do you have green bell pepper, you also have black pepper with ginger and patchouli. So there's some zing there, there's some spice there. Definitely you experience the pepperiness from the black pepper, but you also experience that kind of green vegetal pepperiness from the bell pepper. But I think the green bell pepper complements the rose very much so, because it almost seems like the green bell pepper smell in here smells a bit like the stems of the rose. So you have kind of a green rose experience. It's a great scent. This is Les Parfums de Rosine ELOGE VERT. Third fragrance today. This is not a ranked list. Next up, going to the house of Frederic MALLE. It's Synthetic Jungle, this one right here. Such a beautiful fragrance and a great launch from the House of Frederic MALLE. I absolutely love it. It's almost like you've taken a bunch of different green vegetation. Not only have herbs and green leaves and things like that, edible ones and non-edible ones, and you're kind of like just chopping them up and you're smelling. You've thrown in some flowers and some spicy touches with other ingredients, and that whole smell is captured into this particular fragrance. That's how it smells. It's very, very green. It's very floral and also very fresh, spicy with Galbanum, Lily of the Valley, Oakmoss, Hyacinth, Jasmine, Basil, black currant. Light fruity touches here, kind of earthy touches as well, but lots of aromatic and spicy herbal touches in here as well. And you definitely experience the hyacinth and the lily of the valley, which are flowers, but they kind of have a green smell to them, and they smell very, very spring-like. This is the spring fragrance, but a very, very green spring experience. So Synthetic Jungle is the fourth fragrance I'm talking about today. Next up, going to the house of Quinto Canto or V Canto. This is ENSIS, this one right here. This is the fragrance created by Paolo Terenzi from Tiziana Terenzi. So this is a sister house of Tiziana Terenzi. They have three different fragrance houses that they have with different fragrances, but all of the fragrances are created by Paolo Terenzi. This one to me is kind of like in between Synthetic Jungle and also L'Ombre dans l'Eau from the House of Diptyque, which is also on the list coming up in a bit. But this one also has fruity floral touches and aromatic and herbal touches as well, along with lots of greenness. So it features green leaves, cassis, blackcurrant, pansy, lilac, lily of the valley, bergamot, metallic notes, and rose. So the lilacs and the lily of the valley, once again, green smelling flowers to me, and I like green smelling flowers in the springtime because it reminds me of spring totally. But here we've got lots of green leaves. You can experience that kind of experience as I was saying about the Synthetic Jungle, chopping up all the leaves and you're smelling it, but you're throwing in some fruity touches in here and then other flowers as well, and you're getting this very, very unique smelling of chopped up green leaves and herbs and edible leaves and non-edible leaves and the flowers and fruits together. It's a great smelling fragrance. There is definitely a little metallic touch here as well, but it's a soothing kind of a metallic touch, but a great scent. This is Quinto Canto ENSIS at number 5. Next fragrance is from the House of Rogue Perfumery. This is Mousse Luminée. So this to me is such a green experience. It's very syrupy. When you smell it, you can experience the syrupy. And it's like there's a syrupy, smooth, watery, but not water as in drinking water, just a kind of like molasses syrupiness, so that's got a flowy kind of consistency to the smell. So it's a very intense experience, but also very, very green, and it's a green kind of spicy, woody, mossy wear with lots of oak moss, artemisia, cypress, white flowers, olibanum, laurels, and musk. This one to me is definitely focusing on the oak moss, which tends to go very, very green, and I also believe that this brand doesn't follow IFRA regulations, so we're smelling the real stuff in here, and it smells to die for. Amazing kind of a smell with lots of oak moss. You definitely experience that. The artemisia in here kind of has a light licoricey booziness in here as well, but lots of flowers in here. There's some resinous olibanum touch in here as well, with the kind of a lightly incense smokiness, and then throw in some musk and then some aromatic spiciness from laurels. This is a to die for fragrance. This is Rogue Perfumery Mousse Luminée. Definitely a one-of-a-kind smell, kind of paying tribute to classics but smelling modern at the same time. I absolutely love it. Going to the House of Diptyque next. This is L'Ombre dans l'Eau. Once again, kind of similar in the ballpark of Synthetic Jungle, and then of course Quinto Canto's ENSIS. It's kind of a fruity green floral kind of a composition, and absolutely love the way it smells. I think to me this in the Eau de Parfum version is definitely a lot more concentrated in comparison to the Eau de Toilette. And also, if you're familiar with Diptyque and their candles, Bay has a smell similar to this, and I can't remember if Bay came first or this came first, and I believe maybe this came first as a fragrance and then they created a candle to smell like it. I don't remember exactly, but this is a green, fruity, aromatic, spicy fragrance featuring cassis, rose, blackcurrant leaf, bergamot, and ambergris. So it wears very, very green and floral, but very also leafy and lightly vegetal, but definitely fruitiness comes in as well. It's a great great fragrance. If you like the idea of this particular fragrance or Synthetic Jungle or Quinto Cantos ENSIS, get some samples and try them out next to each other and see which one works best to you, because they do have similarities for sure. Very, very green, but they go in different directions. Either way, this is Diptyque's Lombardon L'Eau, a great fragrance for you to try if you like the idea of green fragrances. Next up, going to the house of Atelier Materi. This is Narcisse Taiji. So this one has a very green and earthy smell to me, but with yellow flowers, and it's the narcissus flower. It's called Narcisse Taiji. So it has a very green smell to it. It's very, very earthy to me, the smell of narcisse flowers. It's a yellow flower that kind of has a spring-like a green smell to me, and of course they do pop up in the springtime, these flowers, these narcisse flowers, and to me they smell like spring. There's not a lot of smell to them, but there's a little bit of a very earthy green floral, yellow floral kind of a smell. But either way, this is green, very green fragrance with yellow flowers and warm spicy touches, and it features narcissus, ginger, hay, musk, bran, leather, patchouli, pear. This is probably more intense than compared to the other ones, because eventually it settles to kind of a more ambery, woody, leathery experience, but it's all green and yellow floral up top, and very earthy experience, but a really, really delicious smelling fragrance. This is Atelier Materi Narcisse Taiji. If you don't know that one, please do check it out. It's a great fragrance. Next up, going to the house of Ex Nihilo. This is Viper Green. This is a brand that doesn't get a lot of love in the community. I think I can see why. I think their fragrances are probably a little overpriced, but this to me is such a great smelling green fragrance that I'm obsessed with the way it smells. This to me is also perfect for summer when it's really, really hot outside, but I like the way this smells in the springtime because it reminds me of the smell of spring. So it's green, fresh, and it has lots of citrus aromatic touches, and it features galbanum, mandarin orange, vetiver, angelica, iris, jasmine, patchouli. So there's definitely a vegetal vibe here. The galbanum and the angelica root together creates this vegetal vibe, but you do have citruses, lots of them, and you've got some earthy touches with vetiver, and of course it does have a little powdery touch and from the iris and the jasmine in here. And then I think it's a great smelling fragrance. It smells so much like spring, like you're smelling freshly like popped up flowers that haven't really bloomed yet, but there's some kind of an aroma there that you're kind of walking by and you're getting a whiff of. Anyway, this is Ex Nihilo Viper Green. Such a great smelling fragrance. This next one that I'm going to talk about is a fragrance I've been talking about quite a bit last couple of days. Or maybe not yet. This is Ambre Calabria from the house of Nichonnais. This, to me, is a great smelling amber fragrance that has a very green experience, and it's the kind of amber fragrance that's fresh. And you know, I featured it in a easier to wear amber fragrances video because the greenness and the freshness and the citrusy touches with this one make it for an easier to wear experience. But this is all green, fresh, and citrus aromatic with bergamot, green leaves, galbanum, coriander, jasmine, amber, vanilla. So that galbanum has come up again. There's a little bitterness here, and then also it's a little bit vegetal as well, but there's lots of bergamot, so it's fresh and citrusy, and then you've got some spice from the coriander, some floral touches, but eventually, you know, amber is created with you know, vanilla and ambery experience, or ambery notes like labdanum and benzoin and things like that. So this eventually settles to an amber, but it's a very, very fresh, easy to wear amber to me. So this is Ambre Calabria at number 10. So this next fragrance is from the house of Oriza El Legrand. This is Déjà La Printemps. This is already spring is what it translates to. Oh man, this is like spring in a bottle. Literally spring everything. This says fresh, it's green, and it's aromatic with fig leaves, grass, clover, mint, chamomile, cedar, galbanum, vetiver, musk, lily of the valley, and orange blossom. It's all these like very, very green smelling floral notes and green leaf kind of notes together in one fragrance that's just like totally spring in a bottle. If you like the idea of spring, which this is called already spring, then this is a must fragrance for you to try. It's just that kind of a great fresh experience with lots of greenness all around and kind of like a smell of the air with all the greenness captured in it, kind of a thing. Gorgeous fragrance. This is Déjà La Printemps from the house of Oriza El Legrand. If you don't know it, do check it out. And so far all the fragrances have been unisex except for this one. This is from the house of Costume National. This is Cyber Garden. This is a male targeted release, but a woman can totally pull this one off. To me, this is very green and citrusy, and all with citrus aromatic touches, and then also some fresh spicy touches as well. And it features notes of green notes, vinyl, grapefruit, violet leaves, geranium, bergamot, pink pepper, saffron, vetiver. So the vinyl note is, you know, like a record you used to be able to play the music from. That's the kind of note it has. So there's a little bit of a weird avant-garde kind of an experience, but it's very, very green contrasted with that vinyl note. And then you have ozonic touches in here and some zingy, spicy, citrusy grapefruit note in here. Does lots of aromatic touches and citruses and some spice for a very, very unique experience for a green fragrance. This is once again a little more depth. It has a little more not necessarily a very spring-like smell. It's green, but it's a little deeper and richer in comparison to some of the more fresh experience of spring fragrances that I spoke about. But it's a great scent. I don't know the availability of this one though. I think the brand itself is having some issues with distribution, but I think you can totally find this at discounters. Definitely highly recommended for me. I really do enjoy this one. Cyber Garden from the house of Costume National is the 12th and final fragrance I'm talking about today. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. What are your thoughts about these green fragrances? Let me know your thoughts. Put some comments down so I can find out. Also, let me know if you have a favorite green fragrance that I have never spoken about, because I really do enjoy green fragrances a lot, and especially in the springtime. To me, green fragrances are all about spring, and I like that green earthy smell of spring with all the vegetation that's kind of blooming and opening up and starting to, you know, smell in the air. I absolutely love that smell, and these are definitely fragrances that remind me of that kind of a setting. Let me know if you have any recommendations for other green fragrances. Let me know if you like these fragrances, and also happy St. Patrick's Day to you guys again. I appreciate you tuning in. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video, please share it, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. And also for one bonus fragrance, and I didn't want to make this video about fig because I do those kind of videos separately because I enjoy fig fragrances, and they tend to go green as well, especially if they're using the leaves and the tree. But I wanted to highlight this particular fragrance because it's brand new in my collection. It's a very green experience, but it features not only the fig fruit, but it features the leaves and also the tree. This is Lorenzo Pazzaglia's Adam and Eve's Dress. Very interesting name, right? So this is very green, fruity and woody, but also very, very peppery. There's a major pepperiness from this, and there's no mention of black pepper, because I'm getting like pepper from black pepper kind of the smell, but the fig leaves itself and the tree to me are very peppery. If you ever stand by it, you can smell that pepperiness, you know, coming off of the tree. But this features fig fruit, fig leaf, fig tree, green notes, jasmine, milk, woodsy notes, tuberose. So there's a milkiness about it. So I think that milk is there to give you the fig milk kind of an experience, because, you know, figs, when you pick them off the tree or the leaves, there's a little bit of that milky, sticky kind of stuff that kind of oozes off of the tree. So there is that in here as well, but it's a very, very green experience, very bitter and also peppery. As I said, it's got lots of pepperiness, and I think it's just because of the tree and the leaf itself. So check that out. This is Lorenzo Pazzaglia's Adam and Eve's Dress. Very interesting name, but a very green and figgy. More, I get the fruits in here, I should say, because the fruits are there, but it's more of the tree and the leaves rather than the actual fruit itself. Great smell. This is Adam and Eve's Dress from Lorenzo Pazzaglia. And that's the last fragrance for you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in and sticking around for that bonus last fragrance. Have a good one. Bye.